Good afternoon and welcome all of you for today's session. I invite all of you for the test series program at APTI PLUS. We are proudly announcing the starting of Utkrishti 360, which is associated with a test series come guidance program for 2025. And the greatest feature is that it is with one-on-one mentorship. If you are not preparing for UPSC, you are targeting only for OPSC, then we also have the mains test series program for the OPSC aspirants with a lot of features which are also there for UPSC test series. Means not only these features are related to the UPSC test series students, but it is also connected with, we all can see the OPSC aspirants, whereby not only a student is practicing the PYQs, the previous year questions, but along with the 26 high quality tests, the child is going to get one-on-one mentorship. Even for OPSC, you are going to get the paper evaluation with a very detailed feedback. You're going to receive detailed model answers with explanations. You're going to get special classes on current affairs related to essay and related to ethics and some value addition material, so that if you don't have that awareness related to the topic can be upgraded. तो ये 16 दिसंबर को शुरू हो रहा है ओपीएससी का प्रोग्राम, और जो यूपीएससी का टेस्ट का मेंटरशिप प्रोग्राम हम लोग स्टार्ट कर रहे हैं, दैट इज ऑन 9th of November 2024. So 9th of November for UPSC, and then we can see 16th December for OPSC, and you all are cordially invited for this. Something interesting should I show for the OPSC aspirants when we are talking about it? So here are the test copies of Shweta Shri Mahapatra, who is the the OPSC topper, the first rank holder of OPSC exams. So there are various test papers, as you can see. This is test number 24, this is test 23, and this is test 20. Couple of copies. I thought that I'll just show it to you, that how the topper is writing the answer. You can see that how she is engaging with not only the core segment related to the question, giving the introduction, along with that all the key important points, highlighting the core required dimensions. Like this question, all of us can see this is related to the challenges of artificial intelligence and what quality it can enhance for all of us. So we can see she has enlisted the given dimension of challenges in bullet points, neat, crisp, and then after the challenges, she is also talking about the key outcomes. And after enlisting the points related to key outcomes, she is just closing every question with a definite, we can say, conclusion. And this is related to every test, every answer. And that's why the rank 1. So I would be liking to show you over here related to this test, that is the test number 23. Same as I was talking about it. This is the polity test. She has written on federalism. You all can see that. The issues arising over fiscal federalism, what are the given subsegments, the key points. After the key points, you all can just see that she comes up with way forward. And after the way forward, she has given a definite conclusion. So even Shweta Shri Mahapatra could trust us, and she could claim rank 1 in OPSC. So do join us. Now, given the facet that now all of you have joined this stream and you are engaging with this discussion, I would like to bring your attention first and foremost to the nature of questions, and then how those questions can be connected to OPSC exams as well. The UPSC trend, the OPSC trend, and how you should engage in answer writing practice. So first and foremost, you should always identify the demand of a question. That what are the core demands associated with a question? What are the dimensions which needs to be encapsulated or discussed simultaneously? So here, when we are talking about it, first and foremost, you should always reflect upon what are the key subsegments whenever a question is asked. Like, for example, if the examiner is asking you a question, what is the purpose of raising a question? What is it that the examiner wants to learn from your answer? And how are you able to definitely substantiate the same? For example, let's say if we all are able to see the demand of the question in all these UPSC questions, just have a look. It's give reasons with examples for your viewpoint. So give reasons. That's the core demand of the question. Give reasons and substantiate it with examples. Yet another question. Distinguish means differentiate. Elaborate. Elaborate means there is a statement, you have to further expand it with reasons, perspectives, dimensions. Again, you all can see this given dimension, it's given argue. Argue by giving suitable illustrations. So argue means give your points in favor, give your points in contradiction, and after favor and contradiction, then also give logic, give examples, substantiate it. So when we are talking about argue, in favor of the point, then in contradiction with the point, and after that a balanced opinion, and in the process keep giving examples or facts to substantiate your answer. That's how you argue. Whenever, imagine, like if you're arguing with your parents that why you should go for a fete or a festival, school festival, college festival, you're like, it's very good, I can meet my friends, it will help me revive my bonds. If any of them is preparing for some competitive exam, I'll get to know about it. We'll be doing some data sharing. So whenever there is a question associated with the same, you all can connect that with respect to this given area, it is possible for all of us to argue only when we are giving meaningful logical points. All right. Simultaneously, we all can see there is this question, discuss. After discuss, there is comment. Many students, they actually struggle that what is the demand of a question which is raising the word comment. Comment means give your opinion. On the basis of logic, give your opinion. What do you understand? What is your observation? Okay. Simultaneously, we can also see there are some other questions as well related to the nature of questions which UPSC loves. So we all can see there is question like discuss, do you agree, argue. You can see that. Then comes justify. Like justify why you, suppose the teacher says that why are you late to the class? And the student says ma'am, my tire got punctured, my cycle was not functional, so I had to drag it. So the teacher says that justify your point. So justify, validate, prove your point. So the student is like, you can ask XYZ, this friend was also coming with me, so we both got slow, we both got late because of that. So that's justify. Okay. Again, with respect to justify, when we are talking about the question in UPSC, so you'll have to prove it. Prove it again with what? Facts, like points, dimensions, analysis. Elaborate, the same question, expand it. There is a very popular question which at least out of 20-25 questions we can consider, at least 2 questions UPSC loves to ask. Okay, one is associated with elucidate. Elucidate literally means to make clear. Elucidate, root word is lucid. Lucid means to simplify, to make clear. So whenever you see a question and after the question you see the word elucidate, so always try to simplify. I can show you a question associated with the same. UPSC has asked it under the component of urbanization and also under the component of globalization. Let me take up a question related to globalization. So all of you can see there is this given question associated with globalization, which is saying this term elucidate. So elucidate. So which are the technical terms which need to be simplified? So here we see globalization is generally said to promote cultural homogenization, but due to this, cultural specificities appeared to be strengthened in Indian society. So you're supposed to first explain what do you understand by cultural homogenization. Then what do you understand by cultural specificities? Explain this, simplify both the terms. You can even engage in their definition and then explain the entire sentence. That is what is expected when we say globalization is generally said to promote cultural homogenization, but due to this, cultural specificities appear to be strengthened in the Indian society. So that's what you all can associate yourself with. Again, we can further see words like discuss, we can see words like explore, again elucidate. So you can see the words which UPSC loves to ask. Only when you understand the meaning of these words that you can engage with the core purpose of the question. If any of you students have any doubts, you can always send your comment, you can post your comment. I'll keep responding to it accordingly if you have any doubts in this live stream. Students who have doubt later, if you are watching it later, you can always write a comment. We'll get back to you in terms of responding to the comment. Here, when we are talking about it, so first identify the demand of the question. What is the examiner truly asking? What is the aspiration of the examiner? What does the examiner want to know? And we understand the demand of the question. Mind the word demand of the question. We understand the demand of the question when we pay attention to these words. Words like justify, examine, explain, elaborate, elucidate. All these words have a different approach to the question. Different approach, how? Elucidate will require definitions. Argue, justify don't need definitions as introduction. If you are giving it, it's not that marks will be reduced, but qualitative impact will not be created. So anytime if you are engaging in any such possibility associated with substantiating the content of an answer, it is constantly advisable. First, look at the purpose of the question. Why a question has been asked? Examiner वो सवाल पूछ ही क्यों रहा है? What is the intention behind the question? And then when you support the answers, they are more meaningful. I'll give you two examples. One from UPSC and second from OPSC. So here we can see there is this given question which UPSC had asked, okay, and this is associated with the component of secularism. So this is a 2022 question paper, we all can see. It is saying, are tolerance, assimilation and pluralism the key elements in the making of Indian form of secularism? In an Indian form of secularism. And then it is saying, justify your answer. Justify. Whatever you say it with substantial proof. Whenever I look on this side of the board, I'm actually looking for your questions, answers, suggestions, feedback. And I look forward to see any of it. If you have any kind of doubts, you can always share it. Now here, so when I'm talking about this given question, tolerance, assimilation, pluralism, key elements for an Indian form of secularism, justify. So justify means prove your point, validate your point, and prove it or validate it with, like we can say, significant segments or background, or we can say something which is like proving that this statement is correct when we are talking about it. All right. So here, when we are seeing this, are tolerance, assimilation and pluralism the key elements in the making of Indian form of secularism? So what is Indian form of secularism and how is different from Western form of secularism? I believe majority of you are aware of it. Western form of secularism और इंडियन फॉर्म ऑफ सेक्युलरिज्म क्या अंतर है? हम सबको पता है कि इंडियन फॉर्म और वेस्टर्न फॉर्म दोनों में द गवर्नमेंट does not have a religion of its own, the state does not have a religion of its own, right? उसके बाद हम क्या देखते हैं और क्या सिमिलैरिटी है? They do not get into endorsing any specific religion. They treat all religions equally. ये दो मामला में सिमिलर है. डिफरेंस क्या है? State distances itself from all religious affairs in the West, whereas in India we have positive secularism. So what is positive secularism? The state will protect and propagate all religious institutions equally. So it will give money to Waqf board also, it will give money to Vaishno Devi Shrine board also, it will give money to missionaries also, different religious institutions. At the same time, if any of the religious practices, whether followed by Hindus, Christians, Muslims, Sikhs, Jains, Zoroastrians, anyone, if any of the religious custom, if any of the religious practice is against human rights, if it is against peace and harmony in the society, if it is against balance in a society, then in that situation the state shall interfere. So in the name of religion, you cannot spread communal hatred. In the name of religion, you cannot encourage untouchability. You cannot encourage child marriage. You cannot encourage any form of intervention shall be taken up by the state. And that is how Indian secularism is different from Western secularism. With this concept in your mind, with this understanding in your mind, the question that is being asked over here, जो सवाल पूछ रहा है वो क्या है? tolerance, assimilation and pluralism. Okay, tolerance, सहिष्णुता, assimilation अब हिंदी कह दूंगी तो आत्मसात्मीकरण, और जो जेएम एज यू आर रिक्वेस्टिंग मैम बोथ इन इंग्लिश एंड हिंदी, तो आपको हिंदी भी श्यू ऊपर से निकल जाएगी. सो लेट अस टेक द वेरी पॉसिबिलिटी ऑफ improving upon your vocabulary, because English will not be the mode of writing. It will be either Hindi medium or English medium. Okay, so you'll have to build upon your vocabulary bit by bit, so that first you understand the questions and then you are able to use the right set of words whenever a question is asked. So here in this question, when the examiner is saying that are these three terms core elements to form Indian form of secularism, so then you'll have to say that in the West, we hardly see the presence of minority community. Traditionally, it was only Jews who were present as the minority community, and there have been no specific laws, interventions created in Western secularism to protect or propagate the rights of the minority, or to facilitate we can say social cohesion and balance between communities pertaining to rituals and practices. ठीक है, लेकिन इंडिया में हम क्या देखते हैं? इंडिया में हम देखते हैं टॉलरेंस, एसिमिलेशन और प्लूरलिज्म किस फॉर्म में दिखता है? तो प्लूरलिज्म इस फॉर्म में दैट गवर्नमेंट सारे रिलीजियस इंस्टीट्यूशंस को सपोर्ट करती है फाइनेंशियली. हमें टॉलरेंस किस फॉर्म में दिखता है? तो टॉलरेंस इस फॉर्म में कि आपके यूनिक कल्चरल प्रैक्टिसेस को गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया प्रोटेक्ट करेगी, उसको प्रोपगेट करेगी. लेकिन अगर वो कल्चरल प्रैक्टिस अगेंस्ट द स्पिरिट ऑफ ह्यूमैनिटी है, अगेंस्ट द स्पिरिट ऑफ स्टेट है, तो जो हमारे इंडियन सेक्युलरिज्म है वो उसमें इंटरवीन करेगा. तो टॉलरेंस, सहिष्णुता, टू अ सर्टेन एक्सटेंट यू आर बेयरिंग विथ द डाइवर्सिटी ऑफ द प्रैक्टिसेस, बट ओनली टिल द लिमिट दैट इट इज नॉट इंटरफियरिंग with the wholesome well-being of the society. All right, and when we say assimilation, assimilation means when two communities blend together and create a unique culture. तो ये भी हम सब देख सकते हैं, that also happens with respect to blending of the components. Like for example, we all can see that during weddings, whether it is a Hindu wedding or a Muslim wedding or it is a Christian wedding, most of the times, like in different local areas, we are seeing that people are wearing the sherwanis and the kurtas, right? So the very presence of sherwani and kurta is nothing but a byproduct of assimilation. When we speak Hindi or Hindustani, it is a byproduct of assimilation, because when we say Hindi, which is actually originating from Hindustani and is one of the official languages of India, it has the semblance, it has the blend of Urdu, of we can say Awadhi, it has the blend of Bengali, it has words of English, it has words of Sanskrit, it has words of Pali and Prakrit. Okay, Braj, there's so many, means almost 17 languages, including Dakhini Hindi. So when we say the very possibility of assimilation, that is also a unique feature of Indian society, and when the state tries to protect every community with its uniqueness without the interference and bullying of the other, so that is something which is facilitated by Indian secularism. Ma'am, is it necessary to allude to the context in a current affairs based question? Yeah, if you are able to, Ishita, present the context of the question, then you are able to bring greater validity. It shows that you are aware that why such an issue is in news and why it is being posed as a question. Context shows awareness of the, we can say, wholesome pretext of a question. It shows that you are aware of the purpose of the question, and hence you get like better marks compared to someone straight away quoting facts and figures. So first you open the context and then facts and figures, that adds weightage to the question, and that's a very good question, Ishita. Again, so as we are discussing this question, just see a logical similarity between this one and the other one that is asked by OPSC exams. So when we discuss about the same, here is the question asked in OPSC exam. What is secularism? अब एक चीज दिखेगा आपको OPSC exams में, the questions are slightly mellow, slightly easier, but not so very easy like a school going child or a college going child responding to it. It is like quite refined and you have to be well prepared for it. So here, as you can see, what is secularism? पहला हिस्सा सिंपल, आपने उसको डिफाइन कर दिया क्या है सेक्युलरिज्म, और 15 मार्क्स में से आपका लगभग 3-4 मार्क्स व्हाट इज सेक्युलरिज्म पे रहेगा, लेकिन बाकी 12 मार्क्स किस पे होगा, दिस पार्ट, इन व्हाट वेज इज इट कंपैटिबल विथ मल्टीकल्चरल मल्टी रिलीजियस ईथोस प्रैक्टिस्ड बाय इंडिया और फिर अक्रॉस द एजेस। तो मतलब आपको इस क्वेश्चन में जब कह रहे हैं इन व्हाट वेज इट इज कंपैटिबल, कंपैटिबल विथ व्हाट, मल्टी कल्चरल मल्टी रिलीजियस ईथोस, मगर इंडिया में बहुत सारे कल्चर हैं, बहुत सारे रिलीजन हैं, और बहुत सारे कल्चर बहुत सारे रिलीजन के बावजूद, ठीक है, हम लोग सरवाइव कर गए, वो इंडियन फॉर्म ऑफ सेक्युलरिज्म की वजह से, सोशल कल्चरल एक्सप्रेशन ऑफ सेक्युलरिज्म की वजह से। So what is it that we have found across the ages? So you will be substantiating this given sub-dimension on the basis of like few veritable examples. Like you can talk about multicultural ethos and multi-religious ethos existing in India in the form of plural philosophies existing in India. Plural philosophies, like there has been Jainism, Buddhism, along with Sanatanism, which we can see in the form of different types of scriptures and texts like Vedas, Upanishads, right? We can also see the advent of other religions in India in the form of Christianity, in the form of Islam, and coexistence of it all because of the principles of Sarva Dharma Sambhava. So when we see that all these expressions are coexisting, and on an average all of them are getting a turf to bloom, इन सबको मौका मिल रहा है ग्रोथ का, इन सबको मौका मिल रहा है अपनी बेहतरी को ढूंढने का, और क्या प्रैक्टिसेस हो सकते हैं और क्या चीजें हो सकती हैं, विदाउट नेसेसरीली we can say a form of aggression which like eludes the other or which negates any of the communities. मतलब ऐसा कल्चरल अग्रेशन जिसमें सिर्फ एक ही धर्म का बोलबाला हो और बाकी सबका सुपड़ा साफ हो जाए, बाकी सब जड़ से समाप्त हो जाए, ऐसी स्थिति हमें देखने को नहीं मिलती है। तो ये क्या दिखाता है, इंडियन फॉर्म ऑफ सेक्युलरिज्म कैसे मल्टीकल्चरलिज्म इन द फॉर्म ऑफ प्लूरलिस्टिक ideologies, in the form of pluralistic, we can say, languages, in the form of pluralistic ethnicities, pluralistic food forms, dance forms, sculpture, architecture, एक तरफ मुगल आर्ट भी है, एक तरफ हमें मथुरा आर्ट भी दिख रहा है, ठीक है। तो ये जो प्लूरलिस्टिक पॉसिबिलिटीज हैं, प्लूरलिज्म कभी भी अगर कहीं भी प्रोपगेट होता है तो प्लूरलिज्म किसको मौका देता है, प्लूरलिज्म मौका देता है हार्मोनाइजेशन को, और जब हार्मोनाइजेशन होगा तो वही होगा सोशल कल्चरल एक्सप्रेशन ऑफ सेक्युलरिज्म। Okay, along with that we also can see that there is multi-religious society that has existed in India. So I was giving examples associated with the same, तो आपको बताना होगा कि इस तरीके से हम देख सकते हैं कि इंडिया जो है इसमें जब बहुत सारे कल्चर्स, बहुत सारे रिलीजन जो है ये एक साथ एडजस्टमेंट के साथ विथ वेरियस पैटर्न्स दे कोएग्जिस्टेड, सेक्युलरिज्म एट सोशल कल्चरल लेवल गेन्ड स्ट्रेंथ, गेन्ड एमिनेंस। आई कैन प्रोबेबली गिव यू सम फाइनर इनसाइट फर्दर। इसी में थोड़ा सा आप सिंक्रेटिज्म का भी एलिमेंट डाल सकते हैं। मल्टीकल्चरलिज्म का दो एक्सप्रेशन होता है, एक एक्सप्रेशन जहां आप अपनी आइडेंटिटी अलग लेकर चल सके साथ में अदर रिलीजन्स के, और दूसरा है आप किसी के साथ मर्ज होकर एक तीसरी लाइन निकाल सके। जैसे हम देखते हैं सूफीज्म, Sufism is neither completely based on the principles of Islam, it is nor completely based on principles of any other religion. We can consider it as a cult of its own, with certain principles of Islam, but having its own expression related to, we can say, love towards like God or the Supreme One, expressing one's own sense of aesthetics and beauty in the form of dance and song and poetry, right? So when we are talking about this given possibility of multiculturalism, कुछ blend होकर भी निकलेगा, जैसे दीने इलाही, ठीक है, जैसे हम देखते हैं भक्ति पोएट्स, तो कबीर के राम और तुलसीदास के राम में डिफरेंस हमें देखने को मिलेगा। तुलसीदास के राम राजा राम है जो अवतार है, एंड कबीर के राम जो है वो हम कह सकते हैं खुदा है या ईश्वर है या अल्लाह है या गॉड है। तो ये जो मल्टी रिलीजियस एक्सप्रेशन है, ये जो बहुलतावाद है, दिस काइंड ऑफ प्लूरलिज्म इज शेपिंग द इंडियन फॉर्म ऑफ सेक्युलरिज्म। एंड नाउ यू कैन सी द कोरोलरी, द लॉजिकल कॉन्टिन्यूटी। यूपीएससी का 2022 का क्वेश्चन और ओपीएससी का क्वेश्चन देखने में वर्ड्स वाइज भले अलग हो, लेकिन इन स्पिरिट, इन कंटेंट सिमिलर था, है ना। तो इसीलिए अगर आप टेस्ट सीरीज प्रोग्राम जब ज्वाइन करेंगे हमारा, तो आपको पता चलेगा कि थीमेटिक लेवल पे जो क्वेश्चंस हैं उनका थीम पकड़ते हुए हम लगभग वैसे ही क्वेश्चंस पूछ रहे हैं जो कि यूपीएससी भी पूछ रहा है और ओपीएससी भी पूछ रहा है। वन ऑन वन मेंटोरशिप के बेसिस पे व्हाट आर यू फैसिलिटेटिंग, आपको डाउट है, आपको नहीं समझ में आ रहा है, जो आपको फीडबैक डिटेल्ड मिला है, तो आपको वो मेंटोर समझाएगा कि क्या लिखो और क्यों वो नहीं लिखना चाहिए और उसके इंस्टेड क्या लिखना चाहिए। देयर इज एन इवैल्यूएशन कॉपी आई वुड लाइक टू शो टू ऑल ऑफ यू, यू ऑल कैन जस्ट हैव अ लुक रिलेटेड टू द सेम। So when I'm talking about this, I would like to show one of the evaluated copies that is with all of us. Just a moment. So just, yeah. So when we are talking about this, see this. There is this evaluated copy which is by one of the institutions. I won't take the name because officially it's unethical and incorrect. So let us maintain the professionalism, but you can easily find it online. So here you can see that there is this question: identify the main volcanic belts of the world. What are the positive effects of volcanic eruptions? So you can see very generic comments have been given. Good use of presentation because of the maps. Your analysis talks about volcanic belts. Okay, there is no objective segregation of why awards have been given, why a person is given a specific marks. Okay, so you can see this is how they have evaluated the copy. So value addition or even qualitative evaluation is somewhere missing when we talk about it. Whereas let me show how APTI PLUS does its evaluation. Just have a look. Okay, so first thing which you see is that multi-stage evaluation. Every single sentence is getting evaluated. Okay, and what kind of value addition should be brought, that is also given in the answer when you will be reflecting upon the given content which our evaluators are presenting. Suppose if you are reading the feedback, you're like, hi, copy ही लाल कर दी, and इतने ज्यादा अगर काट पीट मचेगा, मोटिवेशन कैसे होगा? बहुत आराम से। टेस्ट सीरीज इज नॉट द टाइम टू फील एक्सटैटिक दैट वाओ मेरा तो सब कुछ राइट हो गया, बहुत अच्छे मार्क्स दे दिए, मजा ही आ गया। ये हो गया टेम्पोरल सेटिस्फैक्शन विच इज वेरी लाइक वी कैन से मोमेंटस इन नेचर, टेम्पररी इन नेचर। रियल फीडबैक क्या है? जो आपको हैंड होल्डिंग करे, मोटिवेट करे कि हाँ ये ठीक लिखा है, लेकिन इसके जो है ये लिख लेते मजा आ जाता, या ये पॉइंट्स मिस कर रहा है, या उसके साथ और क्या क्या वैल्यू एडिशन हो सकता है, क्या क्या सोच सकते हो, कॉन्टेक्स्ट में क्या लिख सकते हो। और अगर रिटन फीडबैक से नहीं समझ में आ रहा तो वन ऑन वन मेंटोरशिप से someone over the call, over a Zoom call can explain you rather than this, if you would have written this, rather than this aspect, if this could have been substantiated, तो बहुत अच्छे मार्क्स मिलते। ठीक है, so in the test series you should actually reflect upon the possibility of learning that how someone is able to with a guided process hyphenate what is missing in your answer rather than merely celebrating. The very possibility of showing you the path that in which areas there is scope of improvement, so that when you write the final exam, whether it is of UPSC or OPSC, you are just unsurmountable. You are like, you cannot be defeated, and you are also not getting tired, indefatigable. Why indefatigable? Because if you are fatigued, then you cannot survive 20 answers. So test series also builds the stamina. Whenever we teach ethics, at that time we also say that stress causes physiological reactions. But when you completely multiple times undergo the same stress, you build a mental muscle for it. You build the stamina for it. तो पहला टेस्ट स्वेटी पाम्स कॉज करेगा, पहला टेस्ट हालत खराब करेगा, पहला टेस्ट आपको फील कराएगा दैट ओ माय गॉड कुछ याद नहीं आ रहा, पढ़ा रिवाइज किया निकल नहीं रहा है। सेकेंड टेस्ट में पैल्पिटेशन कम होगा, जो पढ़ा है वो हल्का हल्का याद आएगा, स्ट्रक्चर्स बनेंगे। थर्ड टेस्ट तक स्पीड बिल्ड होगा, फोर्थ टेस्ट तक आपको क्वालिटेटिव फीडबैक्स याद रहेंगे और आप उसको अपने आंसर्स में इनकॉर्पोरेट करेंगे। फिफ्थ टेस्ट तक यू विल लर्न हाउ टू मैनेज द टाइम, द क्वालिटी ऑफ द कंटेंट एंड ऑल्सो लाइक ब्रिंगिंग मोर वैल्यू टू द आंसर। सिक्स्थ टेस्ट तक you will be realizing that now things are working in rhythm. Haphazardness is getting cut down. 8th टेस्ट तक आपके मन में एक सेंस ऑफ कंपोजर आने लगता है. 12th टेस्ट, 15th टेस्ट, यू आर नॉट स्कैर्ड अबाउट द वर्ड टेस्ट पर से. इसीलिए मेंटल मसल बिल्ड होना जरूरी है. अगर आपका प्रेपरेशन पूरा हो गया है, इफ यू आर थरो विथ योर प्रेपरेशन, और इफ यू फील दैट यू हैव गिवन वन कॉम्प्रिहेंसिव रीड, then you are really prepared for a test series, my friend, because a test series does the real value addition that is required for a senior, sincere aspirant. This is very good for old students. It is very good for students who have at least completed 2 to 3 GS subjects. It is helpful for anyone who is going for rank revision. So I'll encourage all of you that you should join a test series. So you can just see there is multi-stage evaluation which we have created. Constantly we are giving, like the feedback very thoroughly. जैसे ये बच्चा बहुत ज्यादा अंडरलाइन करके रखा है तो क्लियरली लिख दिया, अंडरलाइन ओनली द की टर्म्स एंड फ्रेजेस. फिर उसके बाद कितना आपको डेप्थ में लिखना है, इंट्रोडक्शन पे, बॉडी पे, कंक्लूजन पे, प्रेजेंटेशन पे, उसका भी इनसाइट डिटेल्ड फीडबैक में दे डिस्कस वन ऑन वन. And here you can see the breakup is also given, how much you are getting related to which area. And then finally you can see that the total marks has been presented with respect to every single aspect which should be evaluated under the feedback. I purposefully avoided showing an evaluated copy because जिसका rank 1 आ गया है, अब उसमें लाल पीला हरा क्या दिखाना है ना. बेहतर ये है कि आप प्रेजेंटेशन देखिए. यू कैन सी दैट द हैंडराइटिंग इज नीट एंड क्लीन. यू कैन सी दैट थिंग्स आर टैबुलरली एक्सप्रेस्ड. ओवर अंडरलाइनिंग इज अवॉइडेड. की सेगमेंट्स हैव बीन एनकैप्सुलेटेड. सारे की पॉइंट्स आपको दिखेंगे. इंट्रोडक्शन बहुत ही नीट एंड क्लीन आपको दिखेगा. ये सॉरी यहां से स्टार्टर है तो इंट्रोडक्शन आपको नीट एंड क्लीन दिखेगा. सारे सेगमेंट्स आपको दिखेंगे और सारे सेगमेंट्स ओपन होने के बाद एक comprehensive conclusion. After this way forward you will find there is a comprehensive like closure or a conclusion related to the question, the way a balanced like a component associated with answer writing should be. So please remember these core components. First, the purpose of a question. कोई सवाल क्यों पूछता है, कैसे पूछता है. After understanding the purpose of the question, then get into recalling the content. Arrange the content properly by understanding that how many words should be dedicated to which part. Then only start writing the answer. Without this mental makeup, if you haphazardly recall the points and start writing, first, organization will be missed. Second, maybe something else is asked and you are interpreting something else rather than what should be like consolidated in the given area. All right. So I hope all of you are getting a comprehensive insight related to like the given dimension of preparation. So I gave you UPSC questions, how and in how many ways, in how many patterns UPSC asks the question. After discussing that, I showed you the OPSC question. Do I have one more OPSC question if you want to see it? There is this question which OPSC had asked. What is freebie? Draw the difference between freebie and welfare. Again, freebie culture by political parties is a double-edged sword. Examine this statement. The quality of these questions are competent with UPSC, GS paper 2, social justice questions. Means I won't be surprised if something similar is asked by UPSC also this year or the next year. Okay, when this year mains has been concluded, next year or the next, because this is an evergreen important question and it becomes all the more a point of discussion the closer the elections come. Okay, because you know how the like political parties try to appease. So I have just prepared a brief overview. First, what do we understand by freebie? Who has given the term freebie? After that, when the question, because you should remember the question, what is freebie? Difference between freebie and welfare. So what is a freebie? Giving an overview. After that, what is welfare scheme? Why welfare schemes are created? What is the purpose of welfare scheme? Then differentiating between freebies and welfare. The second question, if you remember, how freebies are a double-edged sword. So when the question was freebies as double-edged sword, we all can see, first and foremost, advantages of freebie, because double-edged sword, it will give advantage as well as disadvantage. So first you give the introduction from the previous question only, that is what is a freebie. Give an overview associated with what is a freebie. So former Chief Election Commissioner O.P. Rawat said anything that is handled like free of cost and which has no justification, keyword no justification, that is a freebie. Because welfare scheme will have a justification, that what is it trying to empower, which segment or which aspect of life. So freebie, the user charge is not taken, it is short-term electoral advantage oriented, whereas welfare scheme will be long-term, like advantage oriented. Anyway, so if the question is asking freebie as a double-edged sword, you start first with what is a freebie, the same content from previous answer we borrow, write the introduction, then advantages of freebie, which you can see public outreach and engagement improves, public trust is built. Along with that, we can see income equality can be created, because if someone is unable to purchase something and you're giving it as free, so it will create some parity like situation. Social welfare can be facilitated, सामाजिक कल्याण सुनिश्चित हो सकता है. इकोनॉमिक ग्रोथ कैन बी फैसिलिटेटेड, कुछ लोगों को इकोनॉमिक ग्रोथ जैसे स्विंग मशीन दे दिया, साइकिल दे दिया, तो उनका वर्क पार्टिसिपेशन इंप्रूव हो गया. और वही डिसएडवांटेज, क्योंकि डबल एज सोर्ड है, तो हम देख सकते हैं फिस्कल बर्डन कॉज करेगा, मैक्रो इकोनॉमिक स्टेबिलिटी को थ्रेटन कर सकता है, डिपेंडेंसी और एंटाइटलमेंट, इंसान को डिपेंडेंट बनने की टेंडेंसी हो जाती है कि हमेशा कुछ सरकार फ्री में देगी तभी जिंदा रहेंगे, तभी काम करेंगे. उसी तरीके से लो क्वालिटी एंड एंड कॉम्पिटिटिवनेस ऑफ द गुड्स कैन बी अंडर क्वेश्चन. सामान मिला, टूट गया, खराब हो गया, क्यों? फ्री में बांटा था, तो सस्ते घटिया क्वालिटी का दे दिया, तो ये एक अलग प्रॉब्लम है. फिर अगर सस्ती चीजें हैं, खराब जल्दी होंगी, तो एनवायरमेंटल प्रेशर और हजार्ड कॉज कर देगा, है ना. तो नेगेटिव लाइक इंपैक्ट ऑन द एनवायरमेंट, ओवर यूज, वेस्टेज, ये सब चीजें बढ़ जाएंगी. उसी तरह हम देखते हैं डिस्टॉर्शन इन द एक्सपेंडिचर प्रायोरिटीज ऑफ द गवर्नमेंट. लॉन्ग टर्म इन्वेस्टमेंट की जगह शॉर्ट टर्म फ्री भी डिस्ट्रीब्यूट होने लगा. सरकार के पास रिसोर्स तो लिमिटेड है ना, तो उसका डाइवर्जन, उसका डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन इम्प्रॉपर होगा, तो उसका कॉस्ट कौन बेयर करेगा? वी सिटीजन्स. सो इसी से रिलेटेड मैंने एक थोड़ा सा एक्सटेंडेड दे दिया कि कोई बच्चा एक्स्ट्रा पढ़ना चाहे, ऐसे में कंटेंट डालना चाहे, तो थोड़ा सा ये सब भी दे दिया कि एसबीआई ने एक रिपोर्ट किया था जिसमें लाडली बहना स्कीम था और बिहेवियरल हैबिट जो मार्जिनल कम्युनिटी का है वो इंप्रूव हुआ था. जो मार्जिनलाइज्ड कम्युनिटी है उनके बेनिफिट, स्पेंडिंग से रिलेटेड कंपोनेंट 3.5 टाइम्स इंप्रूव हुआ था. सिमिलरली पीआरएस लेजिस्लेटिव रिसर्च ने बोला कि 11 स्टेट्स में देखा गया रेवेन्यू डेफिसिट. तो ये हो गया डबल एज्ड सोर्ड, कुछ फायदा है कुछ नुकसान है. ठीक है, तो बैलेंस्ड एक्ट क्या होना चाहिए, थोड़ा सोल्यूशन दे दीजिए कि क्या होना चाहिए, रादर देन व्हाट इज हैपनिंग, व्हाट शुड हैपन. थोड़ा सा उसके साथ आपने क्रिएट कर दिया कि फ्रीबी के जगह क्या करें, वोटर अवेयरनेस क्रिएट कर दे, इलेक्शन कमीशन ऑफ इंडिया जो है वो थोड़ा एम्पावर कर दे, जुडिशियल इंटरवेंशन होना चाहिए, इंक्लूसिव डेवलपमेंट एंड रैशनल एक्सपेंडिचर ऑफ फंड्स शुड बी टेकन केयर ऑफ. क्योंकि अगर ये काम हम नहीं किए तो लॉन्ग टर्म में श्रीलंका वाली हालत हो जाएगी. ठीक है, तो whenever there is a component like this, first understand the intent of the question, and when you understand the intent of the question, then recall the various points. After the various points, arrange it and then write it. When you do it multiple times with our test series, maybe in the first test you may not fare well, maybe in the first test you are unable to attempt all the questions, but see test after test how you grow, what kind of quality you bring. So just on a final note, I would just like to help you recall that on 9th of November 2024 we are starting with Krishti 360, and like on 16th December we are starting the OPSC test series program, which are having all these given features, from mentorship program which is one-on-one to like qualitative feedback, qualitative analysis, like giving you some extra material for your content updation, extra special classes for GS, current affairs, like essay, English, areas in which generally students struggle. The tests will be 26 in number, 26 tests, mind it, okay? And along with that, we also can see that you will be getting an opportunity to solve the previous year questions. When you are stuck, you are writing your mains, before your mains, you should also find me, like doing some hand holding personally if and when needed. So God bless you. Best wishes for this journey. Hope to find you in APTI Plus family, and let us like get a chance to do all the hand holding, all the support to make you realize your coveted future and make us proud that we were able to contribute in our own meaningful way to let you realize who you truly aspire to become. Thank you so much. Namaste. Alright, so a brief note, any student having any doubt? I have two concerns.